Okay, let's get started. Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. So as you can see in the title, on today's video I'm going to be giving you my full review with spoilers of the new movie of the Saw franchise, Spiral from the book of Saw. In case that you don't know which movie I'm talking about, this is the 9th film of the franchise and the first reboot. This movie is about Detective Sick and his partner that they need to investigate these new murders, that it's about a copycat of Saw, but becomes very personal as the investigation goes on. So basically that's like kind of the most general way for me to explain you the plot. I didn't really want to do a review with spoilers, but as always I realized that if I give more specific details I can give my better opinion. But if you don't want the spoilers but you still want a review and see if it's worth the shot to watch the movie, go to the description box down below and you will see my blog post where all my reviews are spoiler free. So there you have your two options. So if you want to go, pause this video, go and read that, and when you watch the movie, if you want to agree or disagree with me with what I'm saying, come back. Okay, so disclaimer is there. So I just came out of the movie theater a few hours ago of watching the movie. So here in Puerto Rico, movies come out a day prior to the United States, so this is Thursday and it's tomorrow, Friday, May 14th, that the movie is going to be released on the United States. So this is why I can do this review a little bit earlier than some other people, and it's because I had the chance to already see it. So if you want to know my full opinion on Spiral from the book of Saw, keep on watching. Now, like I said, I just came out of the movie theater like a few hours ago, so I have my notes here on my phone that I took while I was watching the movie, because this is the easiest way for me to remember every single thing of the movie, because obviously I can rewatch it. I don't have it on DVD or any streaming service for me to at least rewatch and see detail by detail. So in this case, all I have is the notes, and this also is a way for me to remember how I felt on specific scenes. Now, basically on the first 5 minutes of the film, we have the first trap. Everything starts on like a carnival when suddenly someone steals a purse, and we have this undercover policeman that goes behind him, and he kind of gets into like sewers, pipers, I don't know, but he gets underground, and so he goes downstairs too when he starts running, and they get into some train rails. And when he sees it's a mannequin, you can see it from a mile behind, but obviously he's like going with the gun and like and he's like, go, open your hands, whatever, you know, the protocol. And obviously it's a mannequin. And basically once he's like completely straight, he has here what would be the killer. Now the killer on this film, it's using, I wouldn't say it's a replica, but it's very similar to the one that Amanda Young used on the first films. It's the big mask, but it's a little bit different. Also here he used a black full coat. It's not like black and red like Amanda used to use. So basically we have the first trap. Basically it's this man that is hanging from the ceiling, and he has his tongue in this kind of machine, we could say, that basically he needs to rip his tongue out with his body weight. Like he needs to like pull down, he's going to drop, but he will cut his tongue, because here we understand that he's a policeman that has, by his fault, many innocent people has gone to jail. They don't really give much explanation besides that, but the person doesn't really make it, and he's crashed by the train and have all the blood and everything. And that's how the movie basically starts. It's a pretty simple trap. Rate of rating was really low because the train was really close. This is something that I took really in mind, how much they could survive the traps, but this one, it was really low, the possibilities. And then we jump to the protagonist of the movie, that is portrayed by Chris Rock, that is the Detective Sick. He's a policeman that basically all his division it's kind of against him, because when he was younger he had a partner that turns out to be a really bad policeman, that he killed someone that could be testifying on a case. They don't give many details about that too, but basically he turns and he says like, hey, he killed him without any motives, and that policeman gets fired. And because of that, their old partners on the division, they start to see him as a rat and like a snitch, and that he's not a good policeman, because this kind of shows how corrupt police can be, goes on that line. And if you can see the trailer, you know that Samuel Jackson is here, and this is his son, because he was a well-known policeman detective, and then he was the captain of that division, but then he retired. But basically he's like the role model, and his son, it's like an embarrassment to him, we could see it that way. So basically the policeman that was killed on the first trap was the detective best friend, so he wants to take on the case. They immediately realized that it's a Jigsaw copycat, which for me was really like way too simple. Like how it's so, oh, that's Jigsaw, yeah, that's it. Like, I don't know, I think that was way too fast. The movie goes really fast. The movie, it's 1 hour and 35 minutes and goes way too fast. I thought that it was even less, which in my way to see it's not that bad either, because when a movie is boring, you could be like, I feel like this is 3 hours and it's just been half hour. So you have that. So basically the protagonist has a new partner that he's the one that's going to be helping him on throughout the cases. But as the cases move forward, we realize that the case is very personal. Now when it comes to the traps, and I think that this is a flaw of the movie. First, we don't really see the whole trap scene. Like we see some scenes and we kind of understand what happens. Now the first clue that gets to the police department is the thumb of the first policeman that was killed. It gets on a blue box with his the medals that they use, their plaque, that's the thing, with their plaque. How the killer got him, they don't even say that, but basically he gets to police the thumb and the plate. From the second victim, that same thing, but instead of a thumb, it's the fingers. Now every trap, it's a metaphor of what specifically the police person has done and harmed other people. I will explain myself. The second victim, he kind of says like with his fingers he has like pull the trigger and kill many people and innocent people, so he needs to like sacrifice his fingers in order to survive. He has his fingers all wrapped in metal, and he has to bite something that he has in his mouth so he can like turn on the machine that will start rolling and will take away his fingers, or he's on water, so if he doesn't do it fast he will get electrocuted, and that's what happens, he also dies. The rate of surviving here was also really low. I'm gonna say basically all of these traps were really low rates of surviving. Like there was no way, I mean they could have done it, but they needed way more time. Like all these traps were way too little time, and we don't even have like the clock maybe with 60 seconds or something like that. They don't show that, so it goes really fast. Now the biggest flaw for me on the movie is the fact that, for example, the second trap starts and it hasn't been even a minute and they cut to another scene, and I get that they want to show that two things are happening at the same time, but I think that it would have worked better if they have shown it either the whole scene or at least a decent amount of time of the trap, and then showing that something else is happening, or maybe on the flashback. That this is kind of the method that we have seen on other some movies, but the fact that you're cutting trap, one thing, the trap, and the other thing, and it's like going like back and forth, it's way too much information and it can be confusing, and it also like takes away how the traps make you feel, because it's the music and what happened, and it's the tension because you don't know if the person is going to survive or not, so it takes away that. Also, this movie doesn't have like this green atmosphere that these Saw movies are kind of characteristic to have, and also something that could be another flaw, it's the puppet and the way that the killer is portrayed. He talks way too fast. Like the TV comes up and he's like, "Hello, detective, whatever. I want to play a game." And he basically says like the usual words that John Kramer would have said, but it's like way too fast. It's like, "Have your choice, live or die." There. It's like it doesn't have this deep voice that it's like intimidating and giving you fear. Like they don't give you the time to actually settle and see the fear on the person. Like I think that it's kind of rushed. I could say that the whole movie in a way it's kind of rushed. So basically what's that? And also the puppet, it's kind of funny. It's not even like scary. I don't know. It's like also like another peg. So we could say, and it's a real actual puppet that has the strings on it. It's not on the tricycle. I get that this is a reboot, but obviously they are referenced from the originals. There's one part when the protagonist he's cuffed to, let me say, like a pipe, and he has this weapon that when you look really close, it's kind of resembles the original weapons that they had to use on the original bath scene on the first movie when we have the doctor cutting his feet. So, but he's about to cut his hand when he see a bobby pin on the floor, meaning obviously that the killer wanted him to set free. Then we have seen some similar scenes when we have the protagonist trying to save the person that is on the trap, but he fails, and this is what happens here. And then we get to the final trap, that is his father Samuel Jackson on a trap, and this is when we see the reveal of the killer that I'm going to be saying right now. So like I said, if you want the spoiler, it's time for you to leave and then come back once you have watched the movie. Basically the killer, it's like has always been on Saw movies. The killer is in your face the whole movie, and they give you hints. I was with my friend watching the movie, and we were like, I think that could be this one, but also this one. We wanted to have options, but we have this specific character that it was always the number one suspect, and he kind of gets to a point where he kind of says that he's the suspect and he's the killer, but you don't even realize it until it's revealed. And the killer and the copycat of Jigsaw is the son of the guy that was going to testify but was killed by the partner of the protagonist. This man had a son that he turns out to be the protagonist's new partner. There's one specific scene and one trap that makes it a little bit more obvious, because they try to show that Jigsaw killed him, but I didn't buy it. I honestly didn't buy it. Then once his reveal, I was like, I knew it was him, but at the same time I was going to be disappointed if it wasn't him. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So basically his motive was because he was in the presence when his dad was killed, but he saw the protagonist, he's like making him signs to like stay where he's hiding, and he tells him that he has been loyal to him ever since, and he's the only one that has ever been loyal, and that all the people that he killed was the people that turned his back on him, because they showed that when the protagonist was a little bit younger, we could say a few months after he, like saying the policeman killed this man and they got fired, everyone on his police station, they turned his back, and he needed backup, and they didn't show. And they showed up way too late, and he got shot, and his father got really mad about it. But this is like the attitude that they have against him. So this killer wanted to like show him that he was loyal and he wanted his help. They wanted to become a team so that they could kill all these bad cops together. And you could be saying that he doesn't agree and they're gonna get in a fight and try to kill him, but this is not the case. Actually, Chris Rock character, he says yes to kind of get on a partner with him, but he tells him that he need one last test in order to show how loyal he actually is and which side he is. And this is when we have his father Samuel Jackson. He's hanging from a ceiling. He has some tubes, and all the blood is running out, so He is going to be dying very soon. He has less than 3 minutes to save him. So basically he has to decide between killing his new partner or saving his dad, but like leaving him there and not really saving him. Like specifically he has to like leave it there and go away, but at the end he decides to save his dad. But he gets furious and he starts punching his new partner that it's the killer. And this is when we realize that the trap is not over. As they're fighting Samuel Jackson, he starts to be pulled again and he starts to automatically get stunned. And once the SWAT team is in front of him and Chris Rock is like screaming that don't shoot, don't hurt him, his hands automatically like they go up and he has some, like we could say, really big guns, and he has some really big guns like attached to his hands. He kind of goes like this, and he automatically becomes a danger to the SWAT team, so they shot him and he dies. But it wasn't his fault. It's not like he had any other option because he was tied to it. And Chris Rock starts screaming, and when he turns back he see the killer. He's going down on an elevator and doing this, and that's basically when the movie all ends. And it has the original like soundtrack, just like when John Kramer's on the last very scene of the original franchise, and he like shuts down the door and says game over, like that type of feeling. I was on the edge of my seat by the end because for me it was really impressive. It didn't really say game over. I was kind of hoping it because I was like feeling like I was watching a real Saw movie. But basically that was it. It has an open ending, so I don't know if they're planning to do a sequel or if they want to leave it just there. Now, on my personal opinion, I was really hoping this movie to be trash. I was already on mine to be telling that this movie was going to be one of the worst movie of the year, comparing to Wrong Turn that came out in January. That's really for me the worst idea review about that. I'm going to be leaving it right here if you want to watch that. But I was kind of surprised that there's no way for me to say that this movie is one of the worst, because that would be a lie. I'm not saying that it's the best. I'm not going to call it the best movie of the year, but definitely it's a little bit better than I was expecting. So this is my way of telling you that this movie is worth it. If you're a Saw fan, you're probably gonna like it, you're probably not. Like I say, it has some flaws. It's not perfect. It's not the original Saw. Obviously, it has some different ways to go on the plot, but at the end, it's not a bad movie. I read that has 45 on Rotten Tomatoes. I will give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars, and it will be out of 10 will be like a 6, because going way too harsh on this movie, I don't feel it right. I want to be honest, and in my way of seeing it, this is not a bad movie. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's not as bad as people thought. I thought just because of the trailer that this movie was trash. I mean, the trailer, forget about the trailer, seriously. One thing I want to say though is that Chris Rock is a little bit cringy. Like I need to take my glasses for this, but there's something like this, like he's like here, like really big eyes, and I'm like, why? Seriously, I mean, I kind of get that you want to portray that your character is having some real issues, because it does, but I don't know. I don't see Chris Rock as a horror actor. He's more a comedian, and also the movie tries to be funny, but it doesn't really get to. I mean, I kind of get it. You have a comedian actor there and kind of throws some lines that try to be funny, but it's like, no, please stop, don't do that. So when it comes to that, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be too harsh, because that wouldn't be fair. But when it comes to Chris Rock acting, I think that they could have find someone a little bit better. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you love Chris Rock and maybe you like his character, maybe you don't. And basically this is my review. I don't know how much time I have been talking, but this is my full honest review. Let me know in the comments when you watch the movie, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? You think that they should do more movies about this, or they should just leave it there? All for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, don't forget to thumbs up, share with your friends, and I'm going to be seeing you guys on the next video. Bye.